And ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
And we're back. So we just talked about one of the most acclaimed episodes of all time with the Monsters of Joe on Maple Street. Now talking about an episode that I think is talked of fondly in the sort of underrated gem area, sort of category of Twilight Zone canoning. People like, people like Static. I like Static. And to be honest, my memory of Static was better than what I watched this time. The first time I watched it, the ending really packed a punch, and this time, not as much.
It's certainly one of the endings of all
time. So this
was definitely ended.
It did. And some might say, thankfully. No. Directed by Buzz Kulik, who has directed many Twilight Zones, including The Trouble with Templeton, and written by Charles Beaumont, from a story by O.C. Ridge. And there's no official publication of this story. It's one of those ones where maybe somebody just told a story at a party. And we get Ed Lindsay, played by Dean Jagger. And he hates TV.
Yep.
He just absolutely hates TV.
And he wants the kids to get off his lawn.
He wants the kids. If we saw the lawn, there would certainly be Ed moaning about it, or he would be saying, "Come and listen."
And he would be shouting at clouds.
He would be like, "Come inside, and have you ever heard of Glenn Miller, Tommy Dorsey?" And he go, "No, please, please get away."
But no, yeah, it starts with him, coming up to the TV and pointing at it.
Let's play devil's advocate. We live in a world where TV is just like, we can't imagine a world without it. And that is a world that was not the case in 1960 blank. It was completely different, and was in many, many ways a complete, new revelation. And it was taking away careers. Sorry.
I mean, I'm joking about it, but like the stuff that worked for me in the episode is all to do with him and preferring music to the TV.
Oh yeah. No, there's
I can devil's advocate for it as well, because
Dean Jagger is one of those great storied actors, and I believe every word he says. And I completely believe every word he says, and it's to the extent that I completely fall in for the story, and I feel deeply, deeply sad for this man who, time and time again, is being forced to look mad by a time-traveling radio. Like, whether it is in his mind or not, it's completely forcing him to look mad. And like for the first 15 minutes of this episode, poor Ed Lindsay gets "What's the Time, Mr. Wolfed" by a time-traveling Twilight Zone radio. And and in the end, he doesn't really learn anything. This is my big thing. No. So the whole thing is that, and eventually Carmen Matthews plays Vinny, who was his one-time love, and he's happened by chance to end up in the same boarding house, sort of elderly boarding house, with the woman he was nearly going to marry. I guess small towns. And
that's true.
And she says, "The reason that you're hearing that music is because of me, you Dumbo. You want to try again, but you can't because you're old." And and then the radio starts playing the song again, and he's like, Vinny, they're playing the song. And she runs in, and it's the 40s all over again. And he's like, yeah, perfect. I can just do it all again.
That's his exact words. Yeah.
Have you watched The Trouble with Templeton?
No.
Good episode.
The Trouble with Templeton.
That's a good episode, and it's directed by Buzz Kulik. And when are we? Is this going to be one of those things where I haven't even put it on?
I hope you have.
Episode
45, season 2 episode. Is it not on there?
No, I haven't put it on. Put it on as one of the 50.
It's all right. Static's on there.
Static's on there. So the moral of the story is that we've got lots of great episodes to come. But the moral of the story is that Trouble with Templeton, the whole twist in that is that he travels into the past, and then he travels into the past, and there's this big thing, and then there's this reveal that actually the past is acting, and he wants to stay in the past, but then he leaves, and then the past is acting. They're making it so that he wants to go back to real life. And the whole message is to live in the present. And it's a really sweet ending to a sort of tepid episode. And the whole message here is, nah. You can have whatever you can.
The message here is, if you listen to the radio enough, you might,
if there wasn't the twist, would this be a case where it feels too much unlike a Twilight Zone?
No, because I mean, I think it had like the normal Twilight Zone setup of him discovering this thing, and then it starts setting things up. I think it only really starts to fall apart a bit in the second half for me.
Well, he comes in with the groceries, and you think he's a changed man. And you're like, he's learned his ways. He's going to cook for everybody, and he's going to try again with Vinny. And then we realize that actually he's bought a load of groceries for his radio afternoon, and he's just going to sit up there on his own. And you're like,
the music.
I love this same song over and over again.
Yes,
which is a beautiful song.
Coming to you from the White House this time today.
Somebody's on the radio. Hello, it's me, Jesus. I'm on the radio.
No. But Jesus died last week.
Jesus isn't dead. It's the news. It's the news that is happening right now. Napoleon dead at Waterloo. It's like, my radio. There's nothing wrong with my radio. And
my radio's fine.
It's you sons of bitches. The hell are you doing? He needed to get more angry. He needed to get drunk.
He did something.
So this was one of the fifth of 6 Twilight Zone episodes in the second series to be videotaped. We've talked about this before. We'll be doing long distance call later, and it is a phenomena where they were trying to cut back costs. And in many ways, this isn't really affected by it because it doesn't have any special effects. It doesn't have any practical effects that could be hidden better with, a film camera. And a lot of the scenes play out like the teleplays of the time. Like a lot of them are people walk into a room, couple of camera setups, and they deliver all of the dialogue in 5 minutes, and it's a scene just in this room. And you could very easily make this as a teleplay. If it wasn't for the final edit of I say editing trick, edit of young Vinny coming in you could do this like a normal teleplay. Even live, if you didn't change the wallpaper at the end, you could do it live. And it's very stripped back. And yeah, opening narration. No one ever saw one quite like that, because that's a very special sort of radio. In this day, circa 1935, its type was one of the most elegant consoles on the market. Now, with its fabric-covered speakers, its peculiar yellow dial, its serrated knobs, it looks quaint and a little strange. Mr. Ed Lindsay is going to find out how strange very soon when he tunes into the Twilight Zone. He must have been so happy with tunes into the Twilight Zone. It's right there. That's
Oh, definitely.
This is another thing where we're watching it, not understanding what they're parodying. Because I was researching it, and the whole grass cigarette parody, sorry, the whole grass cigarette ad, that was a parody of the huge boom at the time of televised commercials for flavored cigarettes. And there was mint flavored, and there was tea flavored, and there was all these different flavors. And that's a parody. And I mean, it's funny as it is, but that's the sort of thing that, I don't know, in 1961 would have been like, and it's a little bit like us watching Ed when he puts his pillow and sits on the floor and listens to the worst comedy program I've ever heard.
Yeah.
So it's a tirade against television and TV, or is it a tirade against terrible TV? The irony being that they are normally making completely beautiful cinematic filmed shows 10 times better than everything that's currently being on. The irony is that this is one of the videotaped episodes that is made and looks the same as the shit that they are so commonly 10 leagues above. I don't think it's necessarily completely a tirade against terrible TV. I think it is in many ways a tirade against TV, because Charles Beaumont was a fan of radio, grew up in radio, wrote for radio, same as Serling. You know, although they themselves on the show The Twilight Zone were making exceptional TV, for them the best medium, sorry, the medium that created the things that they loved and admired and made them want to be creative and writers is still radio. Yeah, I love it. He gets slightly angry, but nowhere near angry enough on, let's all roll in the grass. Let's all, just call your operator. And I just wanted him to just get slightly, we needed a scene where he threw a TV, you know.
Yeah.
We needed him to just blow up and blow up a TV. That would be great.
When does he smash the TV, like the start of Fire Walk with Me?
Yes, that would be, if he came, if there was a scene,
Fire Walk with Me. Yeah.
If there was a scene where he where he was like, "Where's my goddamn radio?" You know, he comes in with the groceries and is like, "Doopy doopy doo, don't mind me. I've got my groceries. How exciting!" And then he came in with a sledgehammer once he finds out that his radio is missing. And I mean, this would be the greatest episode ever made on the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, it's true. It would be.
It's not
it's just the I don't like. There was no point in the radio being sold, to be honest.
There is
because it just happens and then it's resolved within 4 seconds.
It's immediately resolved. It is so painfully immediately resolved. Like, Vinny doesn't even hide it. Where is it? Where is it? It's with the junk dealer. Why tell him? Why tell him at all? Just say
straight away.
Just be like, we threw it out. We threw it out. You really need to learn to live. You need to live to live in the present.
For a second it was going to be that there is no radio.
Yeah.
The radio was in your head.
Yeah.
We haven't seen the radio the whole time.
And maybe it's a double twist. And then in actuality, Vinny, then we go around the back and Vinny's in the trash, and she's like, "Oh, I hope he doesn't find this radio I put in the trash." And it's a double twist. Either
Oh
way,
my God.
we know the truth in that the best thing would have been him getting a sledgehammer. Um, I never throw anything away that's worth keeping. Very on the nose, and he's like, she's right there, my man.
Yep.
Just be like, well, and also, so he's the one who threw it. He's the one who put it in the basement. Why did he ever put it in the basement?
Mhm.
If he loves his goddamn radio so much, when was he ever like, you know what? Basement time. Let's see what this TV's about.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Also that the shop looks like a basement anyway.
Yes. Oh no, I know. It's such a bad set dressing. In that they look exactly the same. The basement and the junk dealers looks exactly the same, and it's so confusing.
It does look like the same set. Yeah.
Maybe it is, and they've
So
redressed
he's
it.
going down into his basement and buying it off of the shopkeeper.
Right, the man who lives in the basement. Hey, this is my basement. Shut up, Jerry. You're here.
It's just
He's another resident who unfortunately has some sort of issue. And so they have to lie to him and pretend that he still works in the store, but he can't work in his store anymore because he's getting robbed.
He calls himself the shopkeeper.
I want to make the movie that is the Expendables, but it's a care home, boarding home situation. I mean, it's right there.
Oh my God.
The dial man. Is that his? Oh, it can't just be the radio, the disc jockey. Yeah.
Yep.
The disc jockey, the shopkeeper. We've already got one ready made for us. The professor.
Yep. Perfect.
And what is it called? He's called Mr. Bragg, the guy who hates the radio and is constantly being rude and horrible. He's called Mr. Bragg. This is probably the most negative we've ever been.
Bragg.
Yeah, this is kind of fun. I enjoy. Maybe we should do more of the better ones. I mean, I love what's it called? What's it called? The one. I
genuinely enjoyed this.
Oh no, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it too. It's only when you start talking about it.
I enjoyed half of it.
Yeah, because I always talk about what I think it's called the genie or something. Anyway, and he's like, I want to be, powerful, and I want all the power in the world. Any other thing? No, he's like, no, I don't want any other ring. I just want all the power in the world. And then he's like, I'm Hitler, and it's Germany. It's like, oh. I love go buy yourself a switch. I love go buy yourself a switchblade when he's talking to the kid.
Yeah, that was a funny line.
I do. This is another thing. I do love that era of music. I literally Getting Sentimental Over You is a beautiful song that I have had in my Spotify Wrapped. I love the era myself. And then the dinner time and his humming, and it's very nice. And then he's like, the conversation then of Tommy Dorsey's dead, Major Bowes is dead, and a friend of Tommy Dorsey's. It's like, yeah, well. Yes. And then a friend of Tommy Dorsey's widow actually complained and said that it was really uncouth.
Really?
Not ideal, my man. WPDA Cedarburg has been out of business for 13 years. And again, that it's not even a slow trickling of information. The problem is that it's just like all the minute that FDR's the ad break. Like, I mean, I guess they save it for the ad break, but he doesn't have any reaction to it being FDR. No. If he had a reaction, maybe. I don't know. And then also it's an incredibly abrupt ad break. And then we come back.
As abrupt as the end of the episodes. But
and again, he calls up the professor. Yeah, come upstairs, Professor Vinny, Vinny. You know, and then Mr. Bragg gets the title line, "Why bother? You're going to hear nothing but static." And he really milks this. And then we get the beautiful, touching scene of Vinny and Ed, which is pulled off. You know, Carmen Matthews is very nice, and Dean Jagger's very good. You can't change what you are, neither can I. We had our chance and missed it, Ed. Been living together in this boarding house for 10 years anyway. But I'll tell you one thing that's true. And I know it's true. You did love me as much as a man ever loved a woman, didn't you? Yes, Vinny, that's true. I did, yes. And now you love me, and now you love what we were, what we might have become together. So just about this time every year, it would have been our anniversary. You start getting unhappy. You want to go back to 1940 and start all over again. Calm down, Vinny. Why do you think you keep it? Why do you think you keep hearing Getting Sentimental Over You on the radio? That was our song, Ed. He forgot anyway. And those programs, we used to listen them together in the dark.
It's Ed's your Ed's, you know, it's like we're in a Twilight Zone episode, and you're thinking of the 40s, and you want to travel back in time, and maybe by the end of this all we will travel back in time, Ed. Wouldn't that be crazy?
But also, you know, those were our programs. Oh yeah, I remember those times when you said you loved me when we were listening to FDR's public addresses. And also the line "in the dark," and I'm like, is that supposed to be sexual? You know,
okay.
in the dark. When you hear those, and then the best part is that she's not done. When you hear those programs, you're like a young man again with all your life ahead of you. But it isn't so, Ed. It's all over between us. We missed our chance.
You old fuck.
Yeah, you crazy bastard listening to your radio. How would your rating of the episode be if Vinny goes downstairs and then we hear this?
We hear this what?
We hear.
Oh my god! Then it will be the best episode.
And then she turns the dial, and then she's like, "Please take me back, take me back, take me back." That would be good. I mean, that would be.
And then Rod Serling steps out.
There's no going back. It's just a radio, you dumb bitch.
You stupid fuck.
Because in real life, there are no radios. And then he goes, "This was the story of a man riddled by dementia who thought that his radio was playing songs from the 40s. And then the story of the woman he nearly married who then bullied him into killing himself. That woman is now trapped forever. No, not in the Twilight Zone, but in a center."
Why didn't they get married?
No idea. I think it must have been. It's like it. I guess he was an arsehole or whatever. It says the description.
Oh, shit.
Like, but I mean, awful people got married in the 40s all the time.
That's true.
And then again, we think we have that huge scene. And what happens? He comes in, "I'm the delivery boy, hello." And we think, oh, great, he's changed. No. "Where's my radio? What happened to my radio?" And then, where is it? Where is it? The junk dealers. Why tell him? And then also, why aren't there cameos of other episode stuff down there?
Is that?
No, why isn't there? There should be.
Oh, that would be great. They could have the little gremlin.
Yeah, he's doing the whole costume
in the corner. Yeah,
it should turn into Guardians of the Galaxy.
It should.
And then again, No change, no resolution. He simply walks back in, turns the radio on, it works, and he's like, Vinny,
He doesn't
come.
learn anything.
Doesn't learn a thing. The last thing he said to old Vinny was, "Where's my radio, you evil woman?" He doesn't say that. But the last thing that happened was he shouted at his two closest friends and the woman who he loved and said, "Please, please, where's my radio?" He goes and gets his radio, comes back, plugs the radio in. You know what the final monologue should have been? Sometimes a radio, whereas Mr. Lindsay thought that the radio was helping him travel back, in actuality, it's helping Vinny and the professor. For now, with Ed Lindsay back in the 40s, they are no longer plagued by the man who has ruined their life for years. You never know who the Twilight Zone can help.
Yeah.
Also,
I mean, it does help him. It rewards him. It's the kindest Twilight Zone twist thing ever.
It would be like if It's Wonderful Life, he showed him his life and it was like,
obviously,
yeah, I'm fine, Yeah, yeah, I still hate my kids, Yeah, I'm still pissed off at Uncle Billy. Why do you want me to, why should I change? And then he doesn't change, but still comes back and everybody gives him the money.
It would be like, wait, what's the episode? Sorry.
Which one?
Oh God, where is it? I'm actually hating myself for forgetting the name because I remembered it earlier. Oh, Time Enough at Last.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there we go. It would be like if it Time Enough at Last, he broke his glasses and then he pulled out and then he went, "Oh, it's okay, I've got contact lenses."
Yeah. No, it'd be like it should be like if he was the awful person and he hated and he was like, I wish everybody died and I could just read. And then his glasses don't break at all.
No, yeah. He just sits reading forever.
And then sometimes in the Twilight Zone, the bastards win. And I've had a lot of fun. And can you remember in Praise of Pip when we did that one, Jay? You ranked that dead last. I think this is better than that. And it's better than that. I don't think it's better than Long Live Walter Jameson, and that's about it so far.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on both points.
And that's about that for Static.
Yes.
All jokes aside, I do still enjoy Static. I'm a romantic at heart. It is a sweet episode, but I can't lie that the first time I watched it, I was quite touched by the ending. And this time I was completely taken aback by its abruptness and the matter in which there is no lesson learned. And I couldn't really get over that.
No, yep.
Any final thoughts yourself, Jay, on Static?
No.
No, there isn't really, is there?
No. I guess their relationship was static.
Very good. Very good. We did no puns on the word static, which is...
That's true. Only the episode did.
Yeah, didn't even talk about the professor. Yeah. Yes, well, that was Static. We've got 4 more to do in this little mini block of 10. And then we'll go from there. Very good. Okay.
Fabulous.
I'm gonna go listen to my radio.
I
learnt
hope you
nothing.
don't end up in the early 2000s.